Good evening.
Good evening, Tony. Oh, it's so wonderful to see you again. I love our little
Same.
interlude every Friday night. It's
Yes.
it's it's precious. It is. Oh, come here. Oh, come. Hold on. We're gonna get this out of the way right now. Peanut wants to say hi. She
There
made
she
it back from
is.
Florida, safe and sound. We're back in the man cave. There's my baby. All right, you
Yes.
sit right here. Yeah, she's like, it's the show tonight. It's the show tonight. Can I be on the show tonight? So tonight we have, when I was posting promos for this, I wrote something about, you always get a nice eclectic mix of people on A World Awakening, but tonight's guest takes the cake and she's the cherry on top.
I saw
And
that.
yeah, I love Roz. She is so special to me. I've done her show several times. She's very well known in the paranormal world. Has been a stage actor for years. Has a real body of work under her belt in terms of her presence in the entertainment field, but also and particularly in the paranormal genre.
Right.
I don't think there's anyone she hasn't done an interview with. So,
If I remember correctly, she was part of the Dark Zone costume celebration when we were on the Queen Mary for 4 days. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure she was.
very cool. Yeah. Everybody in LA that was cool was there. So I would, we'll ask her. We'll ask her. So without further ado, let's bring on our special guest tonight, Roz Drezfalez, the last name that I wish was my own.
Hey, boo.
Hi, darling. How are you?
So good. You can be an honorary Drezfalez.
Can I? Oh, could I?
Andra Perrin Drezfalez.
Oh,
I wasn't at the Queen Mary that night, but I do have a ghost that I hired that looks just like me that I send places.
No, I thought you were on a live stream for the 30. I'm sorry, for the costume contest that they did. No,
I don't think it was me, but
Okay.
I've had a wild life. It's possible. Who knows at this point?
It's okay to say I don't remember. I've been
Yeah.
saying that an awful lot lately. I don't remember. One of my friends, Chase Klutsky, texted me this afternoon. We've had Chase on the show. She's like, I'm watching you right now on Reels TV. Oh, this is great. Oh, you look awesome. I'm like, what show is that? Like, what is it? You want to give me a title? You want to, I've done so much. I literally don't remember all that I've done over these last 10, 11 years or so. So I totally get it.
I'm having such a hard time with time. I think we all are, but it's
Yes.
like, what? I was literally just like, okay, I just talked to you. Was that last week? Was that 3 weeks ago? I don't remember, but I guess it was last week. But yeah, anyway.
I think what's happening, Roz, and you and I have spoken privately about this, and we've spoken about it on your show. I love doing your show. I'll come back anytime. All you have to do is ring me up. That's it. I'm on.
Thank you. We love when you're on.
But, we've talked about this whole paradigm shift thing and how in some ways it's kind of shifting our brains, the way our brains function. And I think what's happening is that we're thinking differently about the here and now. And we're living more in the present moment than most of us ever have. Human beings have good evening, Erin. Our friend Erin's joining us.
Hi.
It is human beings have a proclivity for dwelling on the past and projecting into the future, and not spending as much time, whatever time is. Hi, Lenny. In the present moment, just living in the moment. And I think when there are too many external stressors, Misty Big Red, when there are too many external stressors, we have a tendency, or we're learning to live in the moment. And so we're not putting so much attention on what happened in the past or planning for the future that seems so uncertain, particularly right now. We're actually living in the present. And so there's no need to perseverate too much on what we're storing in our memory banks about what happened last. Sometimes I have to go back into my photographs to see where I've been over a given year, who I've been with, where I've been, what states, what cities, what, events, to refresh my memory about it, because I have, for years now, for several years prior to all of this happening, have been so busy that I don't even have a chance to dwell on what just happened. I'm getting packed and unpacked and repacked and getting on a plane to go to the next thing. And so I'm, constantly, did I pack this? Did I pack that? In the moment, what do I need? And that's how it's been for me. That's been my experience in terms of time in the pandemic. But we also talked about how many people have come to me personally and said that, they've had encounters with spirit. They've had ET sightings. They've had spiritual or ethereal or extraterrestrial things happen to them in the last few years. Has that been the case with you? Have you heard a lot of that from not only your tribe and your circle, but your followers as well?
Oh, yeah. I've heard it so much. I mean, pretty quickly into the pandemic, you started hearing people, and I'm sure a lot of people in the paranormal have talked about this, all the different reasons, and maybe it's the ghost was there the whole time. I always like that theory of like the ghost.
I do too. You just didn't notice before, you were too busy.
Yeah, they're usually like, okay, what are you doing? Because usually 9 o'clock is when I come out and I start playing around the house, and now you're here, and okay, like I guess we all have to coexist now. But I've heard so much of it. It's the thing, but I like what you're saying about the past, present, future, and it's been, even now our futures are so up in the air. Yeah. Not to be pessimistic or anything. It's just the truth. I'm a live performer here in LA, and it's like, things still are like get canceled or get pushed back, or it's like you can't really count on things quite at this moment, but you can focus on the present, baby.
Yeah, focus on the present. You look marvelous tonight, by the way. I have to say, not for nothing, but you are drop dead gorgeous.
You stop it. You're gorgeous.
Oh, you're so sweet. I'm an old hag that cleans up well. That's
Don't
what
say that. But I have been really obsessed with the thought of being like an old hag that like sits on people when they're sleeping, like the old hag syndrome or whatever. That's the job I want when I'm in spirit. I want to just be an old hag in someone's room, creeping them out at night.
I'm so obsessed with this new show on CBS called Ghosts.
Oh, yeah.
Obsessed. Oh, I love Isaac. I love them all, but I'm so in love with the characters. It's just such a well done show, and it's amazing how accurate it is in terms of manifestations that occur. It's well researched and well done, and I think I think I talked with you about this on your last show about it's kind of the will and grace of the paranormal. It's like will and grace.
I need to watch it.
I know
they just haven't
opened everybody up to gays okay. Wow, look at these people. I want to be them. They're so wonderful. They have such a great life. It's so much fun. I laugh for a half an hour from start to finish. And the same thing with ghosts. It desensitizes the subject matter with humor.
Yes, I mean, there's so much
brilliantly
stigma.
done. You have to catch up on it. You can catch it on I think Paramount Plus or live stream or whatever, but it's out there where you can like binge watch the season. When I was up in Georgia for 2 months, I've kind of been on hiatus. Like the only thing I've done is your show and this show, and that's about it for
I'm
the last
honored.
2 months. But I would never say no to you because I adore you.
Well, see, what I liked about what you're saying, because I haven't gotten to see Ghost yet, I haven't had the chance, but horror, or sorry, we've talked, you and I have talked too about, The Conjuring and, how horror movies inform people's beliefs on the paranormal. So to see something that is accurate and positive, but also making things fun and funny, I think that sounds right up my alley, but it also sounds important for, people in the paranormal world. And paranormal and comedy together that's my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah, it
People
is.
in the paranormal world are so funny. Like, you're hilarious. There's so many people in that world that are funny. And I know that, like, people get to see it, the people that host paranormal TV shows. Sometimes you get little glimpses, but a lot of times they're talking about very serious subject matter. And so you don't always get to see, like, laugh after laugh after laugh. But literally all the ones that I've gotten to talk to and that I know are just such funny people. And I love that. There's some connection there between just being funny and having a great sense of humor and the paranormal. And to me, there's so much humor in it.
There really is. And I've often said that the happiest people I know are obsessed with death. But it's not just death. It's the search for the afterlife. Being able to put the paranormal housekeeping stamp of approval on, yeah, here we are, this is it, there it is, let the skeptics go crawl off in a troll hole or under a rock, because this is real. I have gotten to the point where I don't care who thinks it's real or not. I don't care. It's, we can't be here for absolutely everyone. And there is from one I have discovered over the years, from one end of the spectrum to the other, people in the paranormal. I mean, just geopolitically, in terms of faith, in terms of, persuasions, in the way that they interpret life in general. I mean, it's the entire gamut. It's literally full spectrum. And yet we all find a way to get along and love each other. And every event that I do is this massive love fest and especially since we all had our vaccines and were able to start getting back out into the community. And I've said 100 times, 1,000 times, we'll never take each other for granted again. We never will, because we always just assumed, okay, I'll see you next year, or I'll see you, in the fall, or I'll see you here, or I'll see you there. And COVID has shined a white hot spotlight on the phrase, there are no guarantees in life. Which is why I went to Georgia for 2 months to spend with my mother and my sisters. And I binge watched Ghosts with Christine to the point where I couldn't watch another episode because my cheeks were on fire and my ribs hurt from laughing. But I needed that. That was very cleansing and healing. And, still, I'm still in my niche. And yet, spending time with my family. Yes, Melissa, I quite agree. The Michigan Paracon. Roz, have you ever been to the Michigan Paracon?
I have never, and I'm actually from Michigan, but I've been here in Los Angeles since 2008, and never have been.
Where in Michigan are you from?
Grand Rapids.
Oh, God, I'm sorry.
Have you been?
Well, I know enough about Grand Rapids that I will probably stay away from it because they'd probably burn me as a witch in the village square. But yeah, that's kind of ultra conservative. She must be a weirdo territory. So yeah, I avoid that. I go to Sault Ste. Marie, Detroit. I love Detroit and the surrounding environs. Houghton Lake, up in the center of the state, is where I do the UFO contact every year. I go to Michigan frequently. I love Michigan, and I love
What
the
events
people
do you
of
have
Michigan.
coming up? Where are you going next? What's the plan? Do you have
Savannah.
things?
Yeah, I'm going to Savannah the last weekend of the month, which is for where I am, pretty much just up the road. I'm going to drive it. And I'm looking forward to that. And I will be at the Michigan Paracon in Sault Ste. Marie in August. And hopefully, fingers crossed, if all goes well, I'm doing a tour of England at the beginning of August. And the UFO Con in September. I did not book a lot of things for this year because there's the situation with my mother is tenuous at best. And so I know that's where we met, Heidi. I don't want to have to cancel something abruptly on anyone. So what I've done is let everyone know that I've booked with through my agent, Greta, and myself. To basically just put it in the contract that in case of a medical emergency in my family, I have the right to decline at the last minute if I have to. And that's just how it's got to be. And everybody that knows me knows that my family, there's nothing more important to me than my family. And there's no one on earth more important to me than my mother. So that's just that. And that's how it's got to be. And, career comes second to mom. So that's, it was a hard couple of months. Seeing her decline has been very difficult to witness because in my mind, gee, wow, I really, really should have turned down my... hold on, let me turn my sound off. That. But anyway, I want you to talk to people about the things that I find so fascinating about you.
What do you find fascinating about me?
Well, I want to know what drew you into the paranormal in the first place, when you had your first encounter, why you created this amazing podcast when you did that. I mean, you've interviewed just about everybody. I mean, the list of names of the people that you have interviewed is amazing. And what compels you to do it and what inspires you?
Okay, so first experience, I grew up in a house where my grandmother was sticking around, I believe. And from a young age, I would have little experiences that were it was like a grandmother's spirit. Like she had her last days in the house, and she had a long battle with cancer, and she loved the house. She lived there up until her death, and she stuck around. Like, I don't know, I saw her one time, I believe. Now, of course, as I learn more and I have these conversations, I definitely question certain things more. I've gotten to this point of not being so cut and dry. Like I'm turning more into an investigator and, asking myself more questions about my various experiences of just could that have been this or could that have been that? I don't know. Either way, I I've always believed that I had these experiences at a young age. And part of the big takeaway with these experiences as a kid was I learned what it was like when there was somebody in the room, but you can't see them. And I guess you could say like a sixth sense. And as I got older, I kept going to different places. You know, I moved here and I started to really notice going to people's apartment buildings or just various places where I was like, I'm getting that feeling like I used to get when I was a kid before something would fly off the table or whatever. And so I definitely don't think I'm a medium. I don't think I could charge anyone for my medium skills or anything like that, though I don't know in these days, maybe I will. But I just have always kind of paid attention to that, and it's always fascinated me, though it's also always terrified me. I was also raised Catholic, very old Catholic, and you know, I certainly believe that can contribute to a belief in the paranormal, and it was just something growing up where it was like, yeah, the paranormal, like that's the thing. We had there is a place in West Michigan called the Ada Witch. There's like a famous story of a witch that I think a lot of the details are kind of murky, but people go to this wooded area and there's a cemetery and a dirt road and people say that they see this woman. And so I would go out there and I would go out there with my family too. And, you know, they were into it and always reading books about the stuff, always just like really into it. But then, you know, I came to LA and I pursued, you know, a lot of different creative things. And paranormal is just always something that going to a party or working on a job or something, it's like, all right, there's one moment of silence. Let me just sneak in there with who's got a good ghost story. Yeah. And it's just my favorite thing to talk about with people. I love to hear people's ghost stories. I love to hear as many different kinds of stories and from different people. To me, that just opens my mind of ideas. What is Roz?
Everything thinks you're clairsentient.
Maybe, I don't know. But I'm just thinking that would be a great drag name, clairsentient.
That would be a great drag name.
So, what's my favorite experience? Okay, we'll get to it. So, I would ask people about ghost stories all the time, yada, yada. Oh, I like to hear different kinds of ghost stories. And then, okay, so I used to be obsessed with that TV show, Celebrity Ghost Stories. Mm-hmm. And did you ever watch it?
No.
It's like celebrities telling ghost stories. And there's like reenactments with lots of wigs and stuff. And it's I just loved it. Because it's very storytelling kind of a show. And I love a good story. And so I used to watch it all the time. And then it went off the air. And I was like, God, I wish... It seems like every celebrity has a ghost story. And
well, I'll tell you, the night of the after party at the premiere of The Conjuring in 2013... I sat with Lily Taylor, who played my mother in the film, and she had one of the best stories I've ever heard. I mean,
I want to say she told one on Celebrity Ghost Stories. I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. And you're also reminding me right now that we have this weird connection where Shanley, the actress that played you, is somebody that I knew even before I moved out here. We've known each other for a long time. Anyway. So,
she's lovely, isn't she lovely?
Yes, yeah.
What a sweet, sweet girl. Well, she's not a girl anymore. She's a full-grown woman now, but
I just saw her in a commercial.
Special. She's a special soul.
Yeah. So I would always talk to, you know, creative people and people that are celebrities and just all kinds of people in my colorful Hollywood life here. And I wanted to do a podcast, and I was like, well, I should just do a podcast where I talk to people about their ghost stories, and they tell me their ghost stories. And it really started, it's only been almost 4 years since I started doing it. But especially when it started, I was like, I don't know much about this stuff. I know things that I've read. I know things that I've experienced on my own, but I'm not a professional in the field when it comes to knowing things and going out and researching. I'd certainly done ghost hunting stuff or whatever, but not really anything serious. And as I've just talked more and more to people, first of all, it's something that I never get sick of talking about. And I'm just kind of like following it as I keep doing it, where I'm just getting more and more interested in it. I've gone on a number of my own little excursions, and I've just talked to so many different people that constantly shape my beliefs of what is possible. And I'm not the kind of person that says, this is what that is, and here's how you get rid of that, and here's what I don't know. I really don't. And so
nobody does, Roz. Nobody does.
That's how I feel.
And if they
but
claim
other
that they
people
do,
disagree.
they're being disingenuous.
Right.
They don't know. There are no experts in this field.
I really like to take the role as an interviewer, because I'm also a trained interviewer, and I like to really take the role of an audience member and not assume that people know what what a spirit box is or stuff like that. This is a lot of the people that I have on my show are just normal people that just have had experiences. But then I also have people that are professionals in the field that kind of help us answer questions and share those experiences. And so it's a huge mix of different kinds of episodes every week. But it is a lot of comedians and actors and drag queens and a lot of people from paranormal TV shows and all kinds of people. Yeah. So I'm trying to think what other questions I should answer. I've stayed the night in the real Conjuring house. I go every year. Andrea Perrin, I watched you last October when you went back.
Oh, thank you, Ashlyn. I'm so glad. Yeah, the live stream was really intense. I'm glad it's over. Oh my God. Yeah. It's strange. After that happened, I lost my desire to go back to the farmhouse. It's just bizarre.
It hasn't come back?
No.
Wow.
Nope, it hasn't. And, that's like my happy place on earth. It is. It's the only place that feels like home to me. And yet, I don't know. I mean, I was within 20 miles of it a couple of months later, and I could have gone. I'm welcomed there by the owners, the Heinzens, at any time, and I didn't go. And that's bizarre behavior for me. But that aside, that's not, it's not about me. It's about you tonight. So what I want to know is if this is something, Kristen, my friend Kristen, also a medium from Michigan, wanted to know what your favorite experience was. And I want to know if this is something that you think that you'll be in love with lifelong, if it's like a permanent part of you.
I always get asked what my favorite experience is and what who my favorite guest has been, and I'm not great with favorite, but I don't know if I have a favorite paranormal experience. I've had so many that are just small little things, and then I also have things that are long stories. I had this really cool experience a couple of months ago where I was in Sedona looking for UFOs, and I don't know anything about anything, but I know that I saw things that were allegedly not airplanes or helicopters or they were none of the things. And whatever it was, I thought it was breathtaking. And we were shining lights at them, and they were flashing back. And I thought that was incredible, and I'm just going with the fact that they were UFOs, and I'm sticking to it because it really, it was
You
majestic.
feel it. At least I do. When I see a vessel, when I have a sighting, I feel it in a kind of a visceral way. It's not only connection, conscious connection, but I also have a visceral reaction to it that I never do when I see something that we've made go overhead. And I've been very fortunate. I went for several weeks when I was in Georgia where I didn't really see much of anything. And I was kind of in seclusion, and by that I mean I was looking down most of the time. I wasn't really connecting. And I needed a break, I think. And since I left, I've had 3 major sightings in the last 2 days.
Oh my God.
Big ones, like really big ones. Yeah. And it's like, she's back. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that you have to be emotionally and psychically and spiritually prepared to make that connection. And I know how open you are to it. And I think that that's a really beautiful thing. You speak about it and their existence as matter-of-factly as I do. And that's one of the things that we have in common. And you're also, one of the things that I admire about you is your readiness, your willingness to openly admit when you don't know something or you don't understand something, that you're as perplexed as your viewer or your listener, and that's okay. That's okay.
Oh, I love it. I love admitting when I'm wrong or when I don't know things. I mean, I don't know. We live in such a world of you either believe this or you believe that or whatever, and I'm okay admitting that a lot of times I don't know. I don't know, and especially the paranormal, I don't think that anybody has exact answers. And I also live in this mindset of maybe in the paranormal, all of it's true. Maybe it's true in different ways for different people. I don't know. Especially, you talk to mediums and some will say, this is how they appear, or this is how they appear. And it's like, well, maybe they do appear like that for you and like that for somebody else. I don't know. Who am I to say? It's certainly possible.
Mm-hmm.
But, will I do this the rest of my life? I mean, I hope so. I think so. Yeah, I really am. I really do love it so much. I love the people that I've gotten to meet, which is so lovely, like you. It's just been such a cool way to spend time. I mean, especially during the pandemic, it's really gotten me through, and I feel like I will never forget the year or 2 or however long it's been that I wasn't able to literally do anything but talk about ghosts. So, yeah, I'm very, very into this world and to having these conversations with people. As long as ghosts are occurring for people, I will want to hear about it.
Yeah. The phrase "the devil's advocate." Somebody asked me recently, do you feel like you're wasting your life, or not wasting your life, or wasting, precious time in your life, exploring something that you'll probably never have answers to? I can't remember exactly how she put it, and it wasn't castigating in any way. She was just curious when she asked me this and said, do you ever feel like you're wasting time, precious time doing what you do? Why is it so important to you? And my answer was, because for me, it's not a matter of belief. It's a matter of knowledge. I know that there is something beyond our mortal existence, and I want to know what it is and how it is and why it manifests the way it does and what the energy about it is, and why do we coexist in a realm where we are completely, utterly surrounded by spirit all the time, and yet, for the most part, they make themselves, rather obscure or even apparently absent. And then there's an incident, and why, and that all fascinates me. And having grown up the way that I did in such an active household and an active piece of property, frankly, I think you'd have to be, brain dead not to be curious, not to be fascinated, not to be overwhelmed by experiences that are literally life altering. You never think about anything the same way again. And that is particularly true for me around what I perceive to be our galactic family. And then she also said something about you talk about it like it's just so natural, like there's nothing supernatural about it, it's just natural. And I said, yeah, I suppose I do, because it is a natural part of who I am and what my cumulative life experience has been. Do you feel the same way? Do you feel like it's just, it's not paranormal, it's normal, it's not supernatural, it's just natural, it's just a part of life? And some people integrate with it and see it and feel it, and some just shut it out or ignore it. Or, do you think everybody has experiences and some people are open to it or cognizant of it and others are oblivious?
I mean, I don't know. Again, my mind is pretty open about all of it for the most part. I mean, I have a very small list of things that I don't think could be possible. Even that, I don't even know what would be on that list. I don't believe everything I hear, but I am at peace with the fact that I will probably never know the answers. But it's fun to speculate, and it's fun to be like, come on, tell me, I want to know, why does that happen?
Yeah. It keeps the synapses snapping. It really does.
Yeah, right. But I don't know. There's people that, tend to have experiences, tend to not. I don't know why it happens. I think some people seek it out. I mean, I do think that, like I was saying with my experience as a kid, maybe there's a possibility that there are spirits that go, oh, that person has spoken with us, people like us before, or beings like us or whatever. So maybe we should talk to that person. I think that it's possible that that could be a thing. I think that there's so many different scenarios, and it's just hard to say. I don't know. I don't know. I love talking about it, but I also don't have any agenda to make people believe in this stuff.
Me either. None.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that. I think with my show in particular, sometimes I get people that are skeptical that want to hear it because a celebrity that they like is on it or something. And to me, I know that nobody's lying on my show. I mean, I trust that they're not lying. I'm not doing anything to get them to lie or editing to make it sound in a way it isn't or anything like that. But I think ultimately you can learn things from hearing people's experiences and hearing people's beliefs if you do have an open mind. I don't think that the paranormal is something for people with closed minds. Though there's a lot of people in the paranormal that do have closed minds for
in
whatever
a variety
reason.
of ways. Yes.
Yeah, so to me, I think we all do, whether we want to admit it or not, have certain biases or certain things that we have. Our people, we have, we're drawn to certain people in everyday life, and I tend to be drawn to people that talk about the paranormal in a way that is very open-minded, and and everything in life, honestly. But when it comes to the paranormal, I like to really weigh all kinds of possibilities and just keep an open mind. I don't know. What am I talking about? God.
Well, whatever you're doing it right because you have a huge following. Why don't you talk about your show and how any of my viewers or listeners that have not had the privilege, the pleasure of listening to Ghosted, when does it air? How frequently? I don't even know these things because I just say yes when you send me a text message. I don't know.
Right.
And we pre-record. I don't even know when it's going out. Although Patrick Keller, who is a big fan of yours,
Yeah, he's great.
texted me, and he's, well known in the community too, nationally and worldwide. And he's like, "Oh, you and Roz." And it was like 2 or 3 days after we had done our recording session. And so I knew it had aired. And he sent me a text message. He's like, "Oh my God, you and Roz. Oh my God, the whole chicken and the egg story. Mind blown."
Yes.
And I'm so glad. I'm so glad because Patrick just happens to have my phone number. And so I got immediate feedback from him about that. Yes, Jolene, see, already here you got new followers, and she's she's one of my girls. She's one of my tribe.
Oh, well, thank you. You can, oh, hi, Diana.
Diana loves
You can follow me on social media, but the thing is, I live kind of 2 lives. I have my paranormal life, and then I have just my life. And my social media is not very paranormally. It's mainly comedy and pictures of me going like that. So that's everything is Roz Hernandez. It's either that or it's Roz Hernandez. I don't know. It'll come up because it's also AKA Roz Drezfalez. But my paranormal life is pretty much all on the podcast, which is called Ghosted! Explanation Point by Roz Drezfalez. And it comes out every Thursday. And it is produced by Starburns Audio. And they're based here in LA. And they also work with animation and TV shows and tons of comedy podcasts. My podcast is technically a comedy podcast. I mean, we get real at times, but it really is, it's certainly not, I try to give you variety, but it's not like super insidery paranormal talk necessarily. Like, again, if somebody's talking about stuff that paranormal professionals would know about, I like to be like, can we explain what that is? Because it's, I like to really do paranormal for all kinds of people. So it's kind of that. But I've had on some of the celebrities I've had on, I should tell you about, because the other great thing is that with ghost stories, there is really no shelf life on them. They can exist for forever. They're just good stories. And so I have the first over 3 years all still out wherever you get podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get them. And they're all out. You could hear, Andrea, you were on last year, a 2-part episode, and then we had a 1-part come out last week, and they're both so good. And I hear about them all the time. People love when you're on. And but like I've had Cassandra Peterson, who is my idol, aka Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. She's been on. Tons of actors. How come I can't think of any? Wendy McClendon Covey, who's from the Goldbergs and Reno 911. She was on. She had a great story. Margaret Cho, who's one of my favorite comedians. She's
wonderful. She's
so
delightful.
Nicole Byer. Have you ever seen Nailed It on Netflix?
Yes.
Yes, the host of that, Nicole, she's so funny. And she was on one time. If I really thought, there's been well over 100 interviews at this point. And then, paranormal people that I've had on. I've had the Kindred Spirits folks, Adam and Amy, and Dalen from Ghost Brothers, and Jack Osborne, and Katrina Weidman from Portals to Hell.
Have you interviewed John Tenney?
Of course. Oh my
God. Isn't he the best interview? He's the best.
I have a brain crush on him. His brain is just like so incredible. Brilliant. I love the way that he talks about this stuff. I love the way that he thinks about this stuff. I just had the Newkirks on, Greg and Dana Newkirk. Yeah. Well, I just interviewed them. It hasn't come out yet. But yeah, all kinds of people. If people are fans of RuPaul's Drag Race, I've had a lot of drag performers from that show on. Just a wide, colorful array of different people. Every week, every Thursday.
Well, and that's the thing about your show is that everybody can tune in every week and get, a surprise. It's like a little gift that gets unopened.
Yeah.
It's marvelous.
My God, look at these nails. They're like busted. Whoops.
No, I
just had COVID. I had COVID all week. I had to
do mine over again because I've been gardening and I trashed them.
Your nails are great. I was watching another video with you and I was like, damn, I'm always just talking to you. I'm not like looking at your nails. But I just got over COVID. I had COVID all week.
Oh, I'm so sorry, honey.
I know. I need to go to the nail place. I'm fine. I'm totally fine. I just tested negative twice. So good. I think I'm good. But good. I was just really tired and I wasn't able to get my nails done. Anyway, it's not about that. But yeah, I would love it if people would go check out the podcast. I'm sure they might like it. It's definitely silly at times. But, it gets real. It gets silly.
We need, again, my affinity for ghosts. We need to laugh, Roz. We need to laugh. There's just nothing more therapeutic than that. It is healthy to hug and to laugh.
Yeah. And that's one thing I love so much about the paranormal is that, it can be scary. It can be sad. It can be
intriguing,
touching. It can be like literally all the emotions you can find in all the paranormal. The emotions. And I've also always been drawn to it because I like that it involves history. It involves travel. So many things. Religion, science. I mean, there's just like it's all in one, and I love that.
I saw. I don't know. It just popped into my head. I saw a video several years ago of a drone shot over a castle in Scotland that had an enormous courtyard. And you can see in this drone shot in the YouTube, I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. If I can dig it up, I'll post it, of a soldier or a knight of some kind dressed in regalia, translucent, could see right through him. Wow. And a horse that he was riding through the courtyard on. And it just took me back. I mean, because I felt it. I felt this was not something that was CGI. This was not something that was, you could see the whole drone shot coming up over the glen and up over the top of the castle. And then just as the drone is going over the castle, you see this horse and this man riding through the courtyard. And it was just captured. I don't know. I don't believe in accidents or coincidence, but it was there. And I wondered, did that spirit know that this was the perfect opportunity to manifest, to be captured on a piece of technology that obviously did not exist when he was alive? Right. I mean, what do they know? Or what do they know about us on the other side?
I know. I love stuff like that. That brings up all these questions. We're like, I never thought about that. Even like the horse. Like, how does that happen? So is it the ghost of the horse?
Yeah.
Like I always reference this story that somebody told me early on in the podcast, and it wasn't even about this detail, but it made me think about this, and then it brought up all these questions for me. So a listener of the show was telling me, and I hope I'm not messing up the story, but essentially he had a suit coat from, I want to say his grandfather or a relative, and the relative, the spirit had appeared to him, and it was wearing the same sport coat that was physically in the closet, but like the ghost had on. So I was so confused. I was like, so is it the ghost of that sport coat, which is still here? It's almost like a ghosts of the living kind of a thing, which is another thing I love to get into, and astral projection and all that. But it was just sort of like, what is that? How is that possible? What do you think?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know why we saw spirits at the farmhouse wearing different clothing at different times of the course of their lives. We had a little girl that would come through the middle bedroom upstairs, and she was crying for her mother. And she had a book under her arm and a handkerchief tucked up her sleeve, and she was pitiful. And my mother saw the same spirit dressed in what she could only presume was her burial outfit, which was a Kelly green velvet dress, which was probably the only nice thing that she had in terms of clothing during her life. And that turned out to be the dress that she was buried in. So her body is buried 2 miles away from the farmhouse, and yet she appeared to my mother wearing it. Now, is that dress decomposed in a grave from 200 years ago, 2 miles away from the farm? Or does that dress kind of live on with her in the afterlife? Or is it both?
That's what I'm like, is it the ghost of a dress? Like, I don't know. Of course I'm curious about the fashion in the ghost world.
Of course you are.
I mean, it's very important. What are we going to be wearing? But it gives me hope to know that there are, you might be able to have a few wardrobe changes is what I'm gathering.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. It really would. And
I hope I can get my nails done in the afterlife.
Oh, I know. I hear it. I got to make sure before I die I'm all set. I don't think that, I said this to Tenny one time. We were at the UFO contact in Michigan, and we were talking about death and our deaths. And I don't even know how that subject came up, but I just thought about it again. Yesterday or today, it just popped into my head, and I thought, my whole life, I have thought that I won't be buried, I won't burn, I won't be burned, I won't be cremated, that this vessel is merely going to disappear from this planet when it is time for me to go. And there will be no trace left of me. And I will go home, and I will have an escort. That I'm not going to go the conventional way.
What does that mean?
And he said he thought the same thing about him, that he would just disappear. And he said something about, should we go together? And I just looked at him and I said, if it's your time, we will. We will. But I really do believe he and I are from the same place, and it's not here. It is not here. I visit more with Tenny off planet than I do on Earth. I do.
Wow.
He's special. He really is.
Yeah.
And, and he's, I think he knows how special he is, but I also think that he's so humble a human being that it's not something that he highlights he doesn't highlight himself. He highlights things that he's learned, things he's researched about, his personal experiences that he shares. It's really not about him. It's about life and death and the afterlife. It's big picture. It's always big picture. And I appreciate that about him. Our minds kind of work the same way in that respect. But no, he's not a complete total earthling, I don't think, by any stretch. And I know that I'm not. And I'll tell you what, it took me more than 50 years to come to terms with what I experienced as a child. That so changed me. I can't imagine how I would be having not had that experience. Like what life would be like for me having not seen a flotilla of ships pass over my head. It changed everything because I knew as a child those weren't from here. What I saw was not from this planet. I knew it. I absolutely knew it. And it changed everything. And it opened my mind in a way that I don't think anything else could have. And, I have my friend Cass here with me from Michigan. She came down and spent Christmas with my family because she really is family to us. And then came back, turned around, went back to Michigan, and 2 weeks later came back and said, "It's too fucking cold up here. I'm not staying here. I'm coming south. I'm heading south. I'll be there tomorrow." I'm like, well, okay. I'm going back to Florida. And she's like, "Perfect. I'll go with you. I'll take you." She is a skeptic, and she has a hard time dealing with this and thinking about it. It makes her uncomfortable, very uncomfortable, to think about ETs or an extraterrestrial presence around the Earth and in the universe, because she doesn't have a specific belief system per se. She used to describe herself as an atheist and now as an agnostic, and she's sort of getting there. And my father came to me today and he's like, "Did she see what you saw today?" And I said, "She didn't say anything. So if she did, I don't know, but I'm not bringing it up. And when the time comes, and it will, that she sees something so profound and so compelling that she has to say something, then we can talk about it." But I think everything happens in its right and proper time for everyone. That makes sense to me. That feels like there's some rhyme and reason. It's not just all random chaos in the universe, that these experiences occur to us for a reason, that coincidences are not what it says. That's a nice word that we've made up to explain away the otherwise inexplicable events which happen in our lives. But you know what? I have to tell you, I want it for her. I so want it for her. Not to be able to say, "I told you so." Not to be able to say, "You doubted me when you shouldn't have." Not to one up her in any way at all, but to be able to share that part of my life with her and have her know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about it, having seen with her own eyes. And yet we were traveling together years ago, and we pulled off the highway right into Villa Rica, Georgia, where I was going to see my mother, where my mom lives. And there was a vessel right over the village, was right directly over the village. And there's a guy parked on the side of the bridge crossing the interstate highway, and he's filming it. And I was driving. I saw him filming it. You can find it on the internet. Villa Rica, Georgia, extraterrestrial vessel, or ET, or, it's right there. And it's so obviously not something we manufactured. She did not see it, Roz. She did not see it.
What do you mean she didn't see it?
She did not see it. You know,
Huh.
the film footage is on the what one of my friends calls the interwebs. I love that. That's what we should rename the World Wide Web, the interwebs. We should. Um, it's right there, and it got uploaded probably within a day or so of the event, and for some reason, somebody posted it on my wall because they know of my connection to Villa Rica, Georgia. And I was like, no shit. I saw that. And I saw the guy filming it when we pulled off the highway. She didn't notice him. She didn't notice a vessel that was so large that it looked like it was sitting practically on top of the post office.
See, I always talk to people, I guess you could call this agnostic, where I talk to a lot of people that go, I don't believe in that stuff. I don't believe in any of it. And then you talk to them more about it, and it comes out like, well, if I believe in it, then it will get me, or then it's scary, or this, that, or the other thing. So I'm like, you're kind of admitting that you do believe in it.
And you just don't want to.
Yeah, you're just like choosing to play this role of someone that doesn't, or whatever. Which I'm like, okay, fine, whatever, if that's what you want to do. But it is always interesting to me, people's reasons for not believing it, and sometimes, a lot of times, it turns out to be that.
I think that they're terrified that we're telling the truth. And I think this is all fear-based carbon unit behavior, because people fear what they do not understand.
Totally.
I have a quotation at the beginning of the opening of the show from Madame Curie, paraphrased basically, people fear what they don't understand. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less. I think that's brilliant, just brilliant. And no truer words have ever been spoken or written. We need to, and we might not, as we said earlier, we might not ever understand. But you can't understand something. There's zero chance that you're going to understand something unless you acknowledge its existence. Like my mother said to my father, when he says, I don't believe in ghosts, she said, well, you know what? Their existence is not incumbent upon your belief in them. Okay? It's just not. It has nothing to do with them. They don't care if you believe in them or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's but it is a point of contention with some people, and I really do think that it strikes at that internal mechanism that we all have from one extent or another, that is fearful of the dark, the little child afraid of the dark that never ever goes away in most human beings.
I still have that. I'm still terrified of a lot of this stuff. I mean, I am not a paranormal investigator in some ways, in a traditional sense. If something gets too spooky, I'm out of there. That's where I'm at right now. But, I push myself more and more as this goes on. And I also get a little bit desensitized to certain things. Waking up with something spooky at the foot of your bed has always been a huge fear for me. Mm-hmm. And I think especially when I started doing the podcast, I couldn't sleep after I would hear some of these stories. And that doesn't happen so much anymore. Or maybe I'm just getting better at being able to turn off that switch or something. I don't know, but there is still stuff that scares me, and that's very much the human within me.
What is it about it that scares you? Can you place what triggers that fear?
To me, I think there's aspects of the paranormal that aren't that scary to me at all. But I guess getting touched, which I have been before by unseen forces,
Mm-hmm.
where that really creeps me out, and that feels really like violating the times that I've experienced what I believe to be a ghost touching me, like brushing against my leg, grabbing my shoulder, like stuff like that, really freaks me out. And the thought of that being possible if I am in a haunted space, that I'm like, "Ugh, that better not be the thing that happens. And if it just banged down that wall, that means it could be coming for me next. So, yeah, that kind of a thing.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
No, it is silly.
It's just, I don't know. I guess I don't understand how, okay, let me just put it to you this way. I've been touched. I was like, do it again. I need to
You
verify
also grew
that
up in
that
one of the
just
most
happened.
famous
Do it
haunted
again.
houses of all time. You have a very different experience with this stuff than most
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, I want, you have to duplicate that effort so that I absolutely know that this just happened, and it triggers something in me that is almost childlike wonder. And I'm not saying I was never afraid in the house. Please don't get the wrong impression. There were times that, as a child growing up in an environment like that was so foreign to anything else that I had ever experienced in my life. There was an adjustment period involved, for sure. But once I accepted that we were sharing space in a house that was really what is now described as a multidimensional environment. Um, it's not that I was asking for there to be more and more and more activity, and there was some of the activity was really quite terrifying, and there were life-threatening incidents that happened at the house with my mother and two of my sisters. Uh, three of my sisters, pardon me, of the five of us. Um, and so it was something that I did take very seriously, but I felt like I was with them when I was there. I felt a compassion and a tenderness toward them, and a sorrow for them because I felt like they were somehow stuck, perhaps trapped, were not able to move on. And yet I was grateful to them because they hadn't, because then I wouldn't have known them otherwise. It's very complicated and I guess rather convoluted. And it's part of what makes me, qualifies me as a weirdo is my love of them, and not just spirit, not the spirits of the farmhouse or the spirits that I've encountered throughout my life since. I feel a genuine love for them. I feel a higher love, an inexplicable love for our galactic family. And Cass tonight said, of course, Dad's sitting there watching Ancient Aliens, which he's totally addicted to every Friday night. His ass is in front of the big TV, and there he is with his Ancient Aliens. And she looks at me and she's like, "You know all these people, don't you?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." And she said, "Well, why don't you do the show?" And I said, No, I do my own thing. I do my own thing. I don't want to be associated with Ancient Aliens. I don't want to be associated, with any group. I don't belong to MUFON. I don't belong to any organizations per se around this subject matter. Um, and I just do my own thing, and I do my own research and my own experiences, and then I share them on an individual basis with people. And I need to do that. I need to fly solo, and I need to fly above the radar, and I don't know why, but I do, and I trust it. And so I just keep doing what I do and share the experiences that I have when I have them. Uh, but she said to me, this could become a religion. And I said, well, there are those of us that work in the field that are working very hard to make sure that that does not happen, because this is about science and energy and consciousness and cosmic forces. And, you know, she said, well, but the way you talk about them sometimes, it's as though you worship them. And I said, no, I don't worship them. I love them. It's higher love. It's a different kind of a love. It's not like a love that I feel for any earthling. It's not. It's different. It's just different, and it's a connectivity that is truly a very profound aspect of my life, and I never want it to stop. I never want it to stop. I get up every morning and I greet them in the morning and I shoot them off the peace sign and thank them for coming and like get me through another day. Jesus God Almighty, you know, we're so screwed down here. When are you going to show up en masse? You know, I mean, and I have a conversation with them every morning, and she sits, you know, and my father's like, yeah, she's talking to him, and there's the light grid, and she's like, what do you mean the light grid? You know, have you ever seen the light grid, Roz? Have you ever
I
seen
don't
the
think
light?
so.
Do you want to see the light grid?
I don't exactly know what that means. What is it?
Okay. Eventually, the more cosmically connected you become, interactive with the family out there, you will be able to see them more clearly, more succinctly, and I can teach you how to see. There's a grid of light that is. I didn't see it until about 5 or 6 years ago. But if picture a piece of graph paper where all the lines are, you know, precisely all lined up, and then picture like a piece of graph paper that's been put all over the entire sky, and then everywhere there's an intersection of two lines, there's a little pinpoint of light. And if you go out into the morning sky in broad daylight and just look at the whole sky as one thing, not let your human eye deviate to one sector or one object or if you look at the whole sky at once, it will come through to you. And what this is a deliberate passive aggressive activity that's going on around Earth. And what they're trying to do is shed crystalline light upon the Earth to raise the vibration and to make their presence known to more and more and more people. I have always, well, not always, most recently, I have contended that we are the point of disclosure. We, the credible people with incredible stories to share, you know, the common folk who have these experiences and then have the courage to share them. I no longer have any faith in or rely on not only our government, but any world government to share all that they know about this subject. And they keep saying to me, well, tonight as I was walking in here, I'm passing by, and on the screen on TV it said, I think it was one of the commentators was saying, they're not going to come until they know that we're ready. Well, I think it's incumbent upon us to get ready. That's what I think. It's time to wake the fuck up and get ready for the universe that we are a part of. And, you know, it's sleepy time on Earth. It really is. I mean, it's, you know, king and queen of denial, and we just, we can't handle this. It's too much. The government won't tell us anything because we'll all freak out. Well, I don't believe that. I just don't believe that. I think most people have on some subconscious level an awareness of where they come from and why they're here.
You think after the toilet paper situation of March 2020 that people wouldn't be freaking out and going crazy?
Okay. You've got a point. You've got a point. You do. You do. You do. All right. No, I can't argue that. I cannot argue that. It's true. We're obsessive, compulsive, neurotic, anal retentive, and, generally closed-minded human beings. And so we have to break through our shell, as I talked about with you last week. We have to break out of our shell, and we have to do it ourselves. They can't do it for us. They can't. It's not even a matter of them having the will, but they are reaching out to a multitude of human beings that they have a distinct connection with for whatever reason, whether that be the hybrids among us, whether that be the ones that are, spiritually evolved enough to be able to have that level of connectivity. I don't know. And when you really think about it, the government does maintain a little bit of plausible deniability, but I'm so unimpressed. And, if you think about it too, spirit ghosts, for lack of a better word, are extraterrestrials as well. They are no longer of the earth, and yet they are still part of the dimensional expression and energy of the earth. And so there's so much, we know nothing compared to what there is to know. And that's what keeps me going. It keeps me going.
I think that there's probably majority of humans on this earth are focused on their human experience and what is in front of them. And there's not a huge chunk of people that see beyond it or question beyond it. I think people are just caught up in their everyday lives and just trying to get by and survive and whatever. And so I think that's definitely a part of the paranormal conversation as well, that so many people don't care to question the existence of ghosts or aliens or anything. They just, oh no, if the world shuts down, then that means this, or I don't know. They're really just caught up in everyday life, and I really do think that people would freak out.
You really do think that they would totally freak out?
Well, what I was going to say about going back to something we were talking about a little bit ago about the things that scare me, I think what it is I'm applying my human experience to the, I guess, extraterrestrials or ghosts or whatever you want to call them. And for me, the things that scare me, I find myself in situations sometimes where I'm in a building that I know is haunted and I'm the only one there. And I think if somebody popped out, dead or alive, I would be scared. If I was sitting in my bedroom and all of a sudden someone appeared, dead or alive, that would freak me out. It's stuff like that, or somebody grabbing me, or stuff like that. I'm so used to, if a human did that, that would really freak me out. But then someone I can't even see, or somebody that disappears before my eyes. But I do think, again, that it's through this lens of my human experience.
Well, do you feel threatened? I mean, do you think that you would feel threatened? Do you think that it would trigger your fight or flight mechanism?
Oh, yes, I would flee.
Flee.
I would be out of there, but I don't think that I would get I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. It's hard to say. I haven't been in a situation like that much lately. I mean, just like a theater that I work at sometimes here in LA is allegedly haunted, and the people that report it are people that are some of my closest friends, and I've never had an experience there, but people that I trust more than anyone, tell me that they've had these experiences. And so I really do believe that there must be something to that. And sometimes I'm there all by myself and I'm like, I don't want to, like, it's dark and I'm so scared. I don't want to, like, go around a corner by myself. I have to wait until somebody gets there. But I know that it's like, they even say that the ghosts are really nice, happy, fun. Any psychic that's been there, whatever, they all say that they're happy spirits. But I'm like, I don't care. It's dark over there. If I saw my, loved ones in the dark sitting there, it would freak me out. But listen, I am an Andrea Perrin in training, and I am here to learn, and I will one day get to your level, I hope. At least even just a little glimmer, just a little rhinestone of some of the spirit of Andrea Perrin. I hope it can all be in all of us.
I hope so. But, then again, as we said earlier, neither of us do anything to persuade, to coerce, to convince anyone of anything. I happen to have an ability that I can see interdimensionally, extra-dimensionally, ultra-dimensionally. You can put any label you want on it. I can see beyond our own realm. And because it began, I think, so early in my life and with such a profuse onslaught of activity so early, that I simply adjusted to it and got used to it. And, I can't read the menu at O'Charlie's, but I can look into the stratosphere and see everything that's going on, and I'm waving, hi, there you are, I'm like, there you are. And, my father's like, that's probably several 100,000 miles away. And I said, yeah, and I can see it. And there it is. And there they are.
So cool.
It's in a way, it gives my life a deeper meaning. I don't want to live just on the surface. I want to take a deep dive into this thing called life and cram as much of it into my time here as possible. And I'll tell you what, Roz, and I don't know if I've ever told you this before, but I'll tell you now. If I have any choice in the matter, I do not want to come back here. As beautiful a place as it is, I find 3D extremely oppressive and grief-laden. And I don't like the duality. I don't like the, constant conflict. I don't want to come back here. And I cannot believe, I hear so many spiritualists talk about soul contracts. Who came up with that idea? I don't know. I cannot believe that I ever agreed to come here. And
you sound like somebody at a really lame party that is just like, get me out of here. I want to go home.
Get me out of here now. I want to go home and put my jammies on. And, if I have any say in the matter, I do not want to come back. But what do you think about reincarnation?
I personally am pretty convinced of it. I really do subscribe to the belief of the meat suit theories, of we're spiritual beings having a human experience in these vessels, these meat suits, whatever you want to call them, and we go on to the next one. But I don't, of course, I don't have any answers, but I hear so many stories that, so much of this stuff shaping your beliefs, I think, is your own experiences and then anecdotal evidence, stories that you hear from people that can contribute to your beliefs in this stuff and the possibility of different things. And I don't know, I've heard a lot of stories that seem to me like we go and find a different vessel whatever that might be whenever we're done with this one. But I don't know. I don't know what that means. Does that mean we go to a different planet? Does that mean that we can be in different, we could be in an animal, we could be another human? I don't know. I don't know how that works. But I can tell you that from talking about ghosts, I do not have an intense fear of dying the way that I think I did before talking about this stuff constantly.
Yeah.
I think that it has given me a completely different understanding of that experience. And so that's a fear that got taken away from this stuff, which gives me courage. It makes me believe that there's other fears that I have that, that, you can completely reverse. I'm not saying I want to die. I'm just saying I don't live in fear of it. It just doesn't scare me anymore at all.
Yeah, I think that, and I can say the same thing, and it's because I do know it's not a belief system for me. I do know that there is something beyond our mortal existence. I just cannot explain exactly how or why, or, there are still so many elements of it that I do not understand and that I probably never will. But just the knowledge that spirit does exist brings me comfort. And at this particular time, and I've talked about this a lot on the show over the last year or so that we've been doing it, I think that's one of the most important aspects of the paranormal genre is that for those who seek it out or those that are involved, it seems to me, with so many people losing loved ones during this horrific global pandemic, I hope that it brings them some comfort, that their loved ones are not really gone, that they're elsewhere, but that they're still, they're able to contact them if they want to. And I don't know. To me, it brings an element of solace, there's just so much pain right now, Roz. There's so much pain. I must get a phone call every other day of someone who's lost a loved one to this. Or an email, I lost my mom, I lost my dad, I lost my brother, I lost my sister, I lost my child. And it's overwhelming. It's, the amount, we are fast approaching 1 million deaths. And in my opinion, we have already far exceeded that number in this country. Deaths that have not been attributed to COVID that were actually caused by it. Especially at the very beginning when people were terrified to go to the hospital. And so they died quietly at home. The heart attack rate in New York City went up 600% over 2 weeks.
Whew.
What was that? Stress? No, it was COVID. And people's hearts gave out. It attacks vital organs. It attacks the blood system. It attacks, it's, we're dealing now with something that none of us have dealt with in our lifetime. None of us have. And to have this not as an escape genre, but as a way to explore the possibilities of being able to maintain some level of contact and knowledge that our loved ones are okay and perhaps even in a better place is very comforting to me. And I hope it is for many, because as well as I do that fear is the stock in trade in this genre. I have been openly criticized for preaching love and light about spirit when there are people that make their living on terrifying other people about how dark and threatening spirit is, or demons, or so on and so forth. And I think that's the wrong approach. At least I know it's the wrong approach for me. And that's one of the things that I appreciate about you so much, is that you do keep it lighthearted. You do allow yourself to be drawn to it, and yet you seem kind of subjective, sometimes objective about it, some other times, but always fascinated, and always with an open heart and an open mind. And that's what I was asking earlier, was that a gradual process? Did that happen? Did it flip like a light switch after an experience? Or was that a gradual assimilation of information that began to gel and make sense and coalesce?
Well, growing up Catholic, that is deep within me. Like, it is the beliefs that I learned about a lot of stuff is like really, I mean, Catholic guilt or whatever, if you want to call it that. I'm definitely not a practicing Catholic at all, but I was, and I went to Catholic school and all of that. And so the idea of things like demons was certainly in there. Up until the time, when I started my podcast, I still had that in my brain, but also had an open mind about, well, what's that all about, and what does that exactly mean? And a lot of like many people, a lot of the stuff I knew about the paranormal was from Ed and Lorraine Warren, which came from Catholicism, I believe, right?
Yes. Yes, they were deeply entrenched, both of them.
Yeah, and so a lot of those beliefs went along with things that made sense to me in my brain and a lot of people's. And so I think from having conversations with people, it definitely has opened up my brain to all of this stuff. And particularly talking to people that really dedicate their lives to things like demons and the dark side, quote unquote. And it's definitely been a gradual process, and it's going to continue to be of shaping what to me seems real and what doesn't. But at this point, I truly do not believe in demons. And
me either. I've never seen a demon. I do not know what a demon is. I don't, I think that we are too fast to, pull out our pack of Post-it notes and start labeling everything when we don't know. We don't know. I do believe that there is evil in the world, pure, unadulterated evil. I've seen it. I know it exists. I believe that there are what some call elementals, that there are off-world beings that interact. There's a lot of stuff out there, but I don't know. I've always thought that in terms of my own Catholic upbringing. Excuse me, honey. Hold on, just a second. Is it going to be okay? We only have like 30 minutes left. Do you think you're going to make it?
Oh my God.
Oh my God, my baby. She's like, I want to go outside, Mommy. Well, not right now, okay?
I have one too that wants.
Do you?
That wants
that's
to.
Why we walked before the show. Do you remember that?
That's what I said.
Oh, she's getting antsy. Sorry. It's
Who are we talking about? Demons.
Demons.
Elementals.
I think that in terms of the Catholic religion per se, and having grown up in it, I still have Catholic incense in this house because I love the smell of it. I still go into churches and cathedrals, because I think that architecturally they're absolutely
the art,
beautiful.
there's so much to it that I love.
Just, I mean, I wept when Notre Dame burned. I wept. I'd never even been there, but to me it was an iconic, historic, beautiful, extraordinary place on earth that should have been preserved. No matter what, should have been preserved and protected, and something happened that should not have been allowed to happen, and I was so angry about it for the longest time. And I remember thinking at the time, it's like, what is it with you? It just, you don't espouse the religious beliefs anymore, and yet there's a connection, and it's a deep one. It's ingrained.
Do you think it's a spell? Some people compare No, really, people compare Catholicism to a lot of, magical practices.
Yes, that's true.
There's a lot more similar than a person of Catholic faith would want to acknowledge. But it's like, it almost is like they put a spell on you, and it's
it really is. That's the effect of indoctrination, and it's not just Catholicism. That's the effect of any indoctrination. Where you're just taught and taught and taught, and it's basically your level of acceptance. Do I accept the Catholic creed? Do I accept the notion of angels and demons? Do I accept the notion of the Holy Trinity? Do I accept an invisible God that is, all powerful, omnipotent, omnipresent, benevolent? Do I accept this? And the older that I've gotten, and with the Warrens, everything was about angels and demons, and it was all Catholic, all rooted in Catholic doctrine and dogma. All of it. They were absolutely devout Roman Catholics, both of them. But the more when I went off to college, I studied philosophy. I got a degree in philosophy. And in order to get a degree in philosophy, you have to study all the major world religions. That's part of it. They are inextricably linked together. And I think that I gravitated to that because I wanted to know more. And what I do know is that all of the major world religions have tried to take something that is larger than we can comprehend and make it small enough that the human mind can comprehend it. So it became, instead of all universal energy and, prime creator and, infinite mind and all of that got labeled God. And God is the, the end all, the be all, the one, the only, that's it. And this is our creator, and we are formed in the image and likeness of, and there is good and there is evil, and, guilt, sin, shame. You have to, buy into all of that so that you will behave and be a good human being and, do no harm. And, this is all fine and good, except that what it does is it renders something beyond our comprehension comprehensible, because we make what we perceive God to be as much smaller so that we can fit it in our pockets. And think about it in a way that maybe will keep us on the straight and narrow and keep us from doing too much damage and following our basic human instincts. Totally agree. Okay, what did I miss? Religion rules by fear and keeping their followers in line. Yes, and I don't, I don't think there's anything compatible with spirituality and religion. I really do believe that all religion is some form of crowd control, and spirituality is something else entirely.
Right. Definitely.
So, but that doesn't mean that I don't want people to, hell yeah, go worship whatever you want, however you want.
It really works for a lot of people.
Please don't worship the ETs, because this isn't about that. It's not
Well,
about
and that can turn into a cult very quickly. I mean,
very quickly and very easily. And frankly, I think we've got enough cults going right now, and we just don't have room for any more. So there's that. Oh God!
I would join your church though if you ever started one.
If I had one, you would.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I did. I took the leap last year and became an ordained minister, and it was just because I felt like I don't know why I felt like I did. I always felt like I was a bit of a preacher, and on some kind of a cerebral level, that I had a message to impart. But it was during the height of the death toll, I think, and I found myself being a grief counselor a lot. And that's when I felt that internal calling to just go ahead and take that leap of faith. And, I don't use it for anything in particular. It hasn't changed me. It's, one more Post-it note stuck to the back of my shirt. But it seems to bring comfort to other people. And a couple that I'm going to be with in Savannah in a few weeks, asked me to renew their vows for them. And I was so touched by that because it'll be my first marriage. And I was so touched by that because I'm all about, let's spread love. Let's be the light that we seek and spread the love that is our superpower in the world. It's the only way that this world will be livable or even salvageable, in my opinion. It's the only way. And you do that, Roz. You do that with not just your show. I mean, that's only one small element of who you are. With who you are, you do that. You are one of the beacons. And I am so drawn to your light. I think you are so beautiful. You radiate from the inside out. You are a marvelous, mesmerizing piece of work. I gotta tell you.
Piece of work. Thank you.
You
Wow.
are. Whatever put you together, you're like a living sculpture.
What? Get out of here, Andrea Perrin.
You are. I just love you, darling. I just love you to pieces. And I'm so delighted to be able to share you with my audience. Anybody out there that doesn't know who you are, or didn't know who you are before tonight's show, I guarantee you is just as magnetically attracted to you as I am. I guarantee it.
Oh, well, that's so nice. I mean, I just try to be as authentic. I find something I've learned from my life journey, because in my young life, I've had many different phases in my life. I mean, I'm also a sober person. I mean, I've just had a lot of hardships, a lot of things I've had to overcome in my life. And what I've learned is just as much, and this goes along with what I talk about in the paranormal too, where if I can just be my most authentic self, I hope that can break any barrier of, I want to be open and my most authentic, and again, admit when I don't know something or whatever that might mean. And I hope that in my mind will attract people that are also being their most authentic self and give them permission to also be living free and being who they want to be, and not feeling like when you're around me or you're at my community that I have over at my podcast, that you're not going to be judged. You can, we can talk about stuff that sounds outrageous, but you're fine to do that here, because we also know it's outrageous, but what does that even mean? Like, who cares? Like, we're all just we're just having a good time. I mean, yeah. That's why I think it's like even wearing funky clothes or giant wigs or whatever I have on. It's like, that's letting you know right off the bat that I do not care about anything. I don't care what that person staring at me thinks. I don't care because I'm feeling good and I'm having a good time.
Well, it's about creative self-expression, and you've mastered
which is my authentic
that.
self, you know?
Yes.
I want my dog to say hi. Come over here.
Yes, bring your doggy in, and we'll introduce your dog
His poor
to Peanut
eyes, he
Buttercup.
can't see me. He's come over here. It's like a little bit dark. Come here. Oh, now he's gonna be sassy. He's like, oh, now you want me, but when I wanted to go outside, you didn't let me go. Come on. Oh, here he comes. Uh-oh. Come here. Why are you being shy? Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Come here.
Go get the baby. Go get the baby.
Are you ready for this?
Oh my God, Peanut Buttercup! Look at this. Do you see that? Do you see the doggy? Do you see the doggy? Do you see that doggy right there? Oh my God! Looks like a little bear. Oh my God, so
he is
cute.
a little bear.
Oh, so cute.
This is Rocky. He's 14 years old.
Rocky, it's so nice to meet you. This is Peanut.
I love
It's a
Peanut.
very, very dog-friendly show.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, so
This
precious.
is little Rocky. He is, we think 14. I don't know. He's a rescue. And I've had him for 10 years. And he's not missing an ear. He's just like putting his ear back because I think he's a little shy. He knows, he loves the attention, but like, he's being a little shy. He's like a little kid. He's like shy.
I think it's so sweet.
Yeah, he looks like a puppy, but he's an
he's
old man.
He's precious. He is precious. Yeah, I know. Right back down into the lap. There she goes. I want to, we only have a few minutes left, and I'm sure over the course of this show, Tony, my dear friend, Tony Rathman, and my producer, probably got a couple of questions he wants to run past you. So if he's my magic man behind the curtain, if he's available to jump back in and let him chat with you for a bit, Roz.
Wow, you have great reception up in the mountains.
I wish I was actually there, but unfortunately, that is a green screen, which apparently is showing at the moment because I moved it. There we go.
You go.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's magic. It's just magic. Suddenly he's in Machu Picchu. It's great.
There, that looks better. But yeah, really interesting things you guys were talking about tonight. But I guess the one question that I have, Roz, is what was your most profound experience that literally made you say, okay, this is not something normal. This is not something that happens every day, and really threw you for a loop from the paranormal side?
God, there are so many, and I feel like I always forget all of them until they come up. Like, but
Yeah.
one of my famous stories is I bought a Ouija board from a Goodwill probably 10 years ago. And
Yeah, was it the Goodwill for a reason, Roz?
what's that? Oh, yeah. And it was only $1. And I can't pass up a bargain. And so I got it. I never used it. But after about the first or second day that I had it in my house, stuff started happening, which, I know there's a lot of stigma around Ouija boards, and I believe that energy can be attached to all different kinds of objects. I mean, all I do is thrift shop and flea market shop and antique shop, so I don't know what is going on in here. Luckily, I think we're good at the moment. But there was some kind of energy that was attached to this Ouija board, I believe. And it actually, I didn't know what to do with it. And as I moved from different places, it went with me, and until I finally got rid of it. Now, the full story with more details, the first ever episode of my podcast, if you go all the way to the first, in the feed of my podcast episodes, you could find me really getting into the details of it. But essentially, that's the story. And I'm sticking to it.
Very cool. There's something very unique about Ouija boards. They're a means of communication very similar to any other device. Doing EVPs on a digital recorder, asking questions via spirit box. But the difference between a Ouija board is that it is encompassing your own energy into the equation. The digital recorder is self-powered. The ghost box is self-powered, and it runs as a third-party individual instrument, which you don't really have any control over. If something's going to leave a message or say something, it comes out. The Ouija board, on the other hand, is using your energy. You are the tool. You are the communication device through it. So that's why people have bad karma with Ouija boards, because they're unexperienced. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to shut down what they open, and they're using their own energy to communicate. So very great, very interesting story.
Thank you.
Well, a lot of times I've discovered over the years that, people say, well, I never had any experiences, and then my Aunt Louise died, and I suddenly my house was haunted, so I moved into another house, and that house was haunted. And I was like, did you ever maybe consider that it's not the houses that were haunted? Maybe it's you.
Right.
What did you ever do to piss off Aunt Louise? It's just how it is. Well, we only have a minute left, and so tell people again where they can find you and haunt you.
Oh, okay.
And listen to your brilliant podcast and contact you.
Yeah, you could basically, if you just listen to my podcast, you can find all my other information about, following me and whatever. But it's called Ghosted by Roz Drezfalez. It is everywhere you get podcasts, new episodes every Thursday, celebrities, paranormal professionals, and everyday people sharing their ghost stories with me. And we laugh and we have fun, and it's a great time. And start with the Andrea episodes.
Oh, God, please. Although they were good, I gotta say, they really were. You bring out my best. You do, woman. I'm telling you, you do. Well, I thank you. Tony thanks you. I thank you. Our producer at KGRA.
Thank you guys for having me.
It's been delightful. You have been delightful. Tony, we got a lot of comments, didn't we? You were holding back on them. I know you were.
Well, I know that if I just keep putting them up every time they show up, it's like a major distraction on the screen. So tried to pick, but definitely go through and read them, because, yes, there's a lot of them.
I will. Absolutely, I will. I'll go right to the archive and read them all. And Roz, I'll send you a link, and you can, put it wherever you would like. It's your show. And from my heart, my dear, I thank you for joining us and bringing your light to a world awakening tonight.
Oh, thank you for having me. Any opportunity to talk with you.
We'll do it again soon, sweetheart. And so from all of us at A World Awakening to our precious and devoted viewers, we love you all, and we thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll see you again next week. Be the light.